Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Night of Misfortune, bringing you what we have all been waiting for. It is the day one of the Serpents Championship Series Invitational, where 8 players will be battling out to see who is the best of the 2020 year. We had so many great events, we had so many great players play, and we had so many great casters also. I'm joined by one of them, my very good friend and clanmate, Mr. Spiff, or just Spiff. I told myself I'm not gonna say Mr. this time, but I said it anyway. How are you doing,
Yeah,
Spiff?
Mr. Spiff was my father.
And you're just Spiff. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
just Spiff. That's right.
all right. So we got a pretty interesting couple of days ahead of us. But before we get to them, I wanted to kind of start off this section. This is going to be, kind of a reflection on what we had during the year, and then also, um, a look forward of the whole tournament that we have ahead of us. So, Spiff, what? I was wondering if you had any memories or anything that stood out to you, or something that you remember from the year. We've been casting, I think we started actually a year ago with Serpents Open Winter, and we casted so many games together, including league playoff games and tournament games. I was just wondering if anything stood out to you, or anybody stood out to you.
Well, this year has seen the return of some old pros, including Iron Commander, and I think that's probably my favorite thing. We've also had some new people come in and learn the game that have made a real great showing. Foxtermelon in particular has been, I don't want to say dominant. He hasn't won. He's not like the Cyril of StarCraft at this point, but if there's anyone who could be the Cyril of StarCraft, he's getting pretty close. Or
Yeah.
Cyril of Subcom, excuse me. But yeah, I just think that the quality of the play has gone up, and we've seen that both from the old blood and the new blood. So I think that's probably my favorite thing about this year of tournaments.
Yeah, you took mine. I was thinking last night. There's so many great moments, so I'll think of another one. I think we had a lot of great games, and a couple of great games stood out to me. And notably, of course, the finals always leave an impression, especially if they're pretty good. And there are two in particular that stand out. And I would say another quarterfinal or semifinal match of the league playoff. So the first one was the Serpent Open Winter final between Lil Ro and Magenra. That went to Game 5 on open palms, and it was pretty epic, despite the players, being very, very tired, and it was apparently so during that game. But the second one was the Season 2 playoff final between, that was season 3 playoff final between Iron Commander and Magenra, that also went to Game 5. And then in the same playoff round, Magenra versus Hope was also a truly incredible game. So those were the three that stood out. And of course, I've enjoyed having so many players come back, and so many players continue to play throughout the year. So Spiff, as far as the players that we have here today, are you really surprised by anybody, or are you surprised not seeing anybody here?
I mean, it's always tough. We've got to cut it off somewhere. All of these players are really, really good. Any single one of them could kick my butt 9 times out of 10. I don't think that we really saw any big surprises as far as who reached the final 8 here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we had to say goodbye to some people who were real close to making it.
Yeah. So nice transition there into our matchups today. So today we have 4 quarterfinal best out of 5 matches to bring us to semifinals and grand final eventually tomorrow. Which match out of these 4 kind of excites you the most, or which one are you looking forward to the most?
Oh, it's so hard to choose. I mean, I kind of outed myself before as being a little bit of a fanboy for Iron and Fox, as far as the way they play. So Any games that they're playing in, I'm gonna want to see for sure. um,
Yeah.
but really, I mean, it is so difficult because this is a really challenging field here.
Yeah, for sure. And I think every single one of these matches is very, very exciting. We have so many rematches coming up. We have so many just good, great players. I mean, these are the top 8 that we have today in the game. Uh, Without really going into each one of these matchups in detail, I will just highlight 3 of them because 3 of them I think are, all of them are great, but 3 of them are particularly so. The first one is, of course, the match we have up first is Fox versus Vanity. It's a rematch of their quarter or semifinal match from Serpent's Open Fall that we've just had very recently. So that's going to be amazing. And it's an Aeon mirror, so it's going to be pretty good. And then Hope versus Osmos. I know they're training partners, or they used to be. So that will be a very interesting match. And I know they're very equally skilled, even though Osmos has not had that, defining performance this year. But he only played really the league and the fall tournament, really, and the summer tournament.
And he
So
still managed to earn an invitation.
exactly, yeah. So he managed to qualify, largely part because he did so well in the league and also in those 2 tournaments. He reached quarterfinals in both and then took second. And then finally, of course, quarterfinal. I think the most exciting match, the most one that I'm looking forward to for multiple reasons, is Magenra versus Iron Commander. And that's just a classic Cybran versus Aeon. And we'll talk about it at length when we get there. But it's just going to be an amazing match, and I'm looking forward so much to it. So that's just a little bit of a preview of what we got going on. We're going to be bringing you a casting couch for each one of these matchups as well ahead of the games. So we're actually going to try and get that going as soon as we get the pick bands. We're trying to get one of these players for our first match to get checked in. So as soon as we have that, we will be back with the casting couch, and then shortly afterwards, we're going to start the actual games. But before we go, actually, I wanted to show you guys the map pool that we've got going on. And let's go ahead and switch over to that. So, Spiff, I don't know if you had too much time to check out the map pool. But
No, I didn't. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I got it right here. We did talk a little bit about this, didn't we?
We did. I think we did like a couple of days ago or something, but not today.
Yeah. So we've got Desolatia is one of the only real small maps that we have here.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is pretty big. Lots of open space. Probably going to see a lot of airplay. The only other map that's kind of smaller and is almost definitely going to see land play is Way Station Zeta, but air can be really good on that map too. I think we're just going to see a lot of air dominating with these large maps. Boolean is always kind of a fun one to see 1v1s on because you just don't see it very often.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of air.
Yeah, for sure. So the way I came up with these maps is, I'm sure you guys are well aware that I've been keeping track of all the results that we had. So I know kind of the statistics. And obviously the hardest part was balancing it for the UEF faction. And I did my best to have a map pool that not only allows a balance between the factions, but also a balance between the type of map. So, airplay, even though a lot of players don't like it, I think airplay is a big component of Supreme Commander 2. And thus it should be a component of the final of the year. So 3 of these maps are definitely air maps, while 4 are more of the standard land maps that people enjoy, but are balanced for the tournament. So I really think that this will allow the most balanced playstyle. And also the third criteria that I used was basically the topography of the map. So I considered choke points, I've considered, expansions and things like that. So I really do think that this is the most optimal map pool. But of course, some of these maps are not as tested as the other. Open Palms is the most tested because people love to play on it. But I firmly believe so. And I really hope we have some great games. So yeah, that's really all I had to say for the casting couch portion of the introduction to the tournament. I hope you guys are gonna enjoy this weekend. I know I certainly am. I've been looking forward to this for the whole year, basically, and I'm really, really excited to bring this to you. One thing that I will say, guys, if you're in a chat and you have been hearing us talking, I'd really love to hear your feedback. If our microphones are balanced, if you can hear myself and Spiff perfectly okay, I really want to make sure that these videos are 100% for YouTube afterwards. So for now, stay tuned. We might be a little late because we still haven't started the ban phase. We're missing one of our players. I'm hoping he will show up. But we'll be back very, very shortly. Don't go anywhere. Invite your friends, and let's get hyped.